as economic agents, like individuals, firms, governments, we all use scarce resources. And the only way out is for us to be what? Rational. When we are rational, it simply means we are using resources judiciously. We are using resources judiciously. We are managing resources. We are allocating resources. That's what it means. It means we are using the right resources for the right, yes, we're not wasting it. We are efficient. So efficiency comes when there is rationality. So that takes us to what we call the use of cost-benefit analysis. So for cost-benefit analysis, it comes because we have to execute a project. There's always going to be a project. So before you execute this project, the first thing you think about, like you want to build a road, it's a project. You want to build a hospital, it's a project. Before you build this road or project, because you have to put into consideration the resources that have to be used. So the next thing you have to do is to assess the cost, the benefit of such a project. That is why we have what we call cost-benefit analysis. So what is cost-benefit analysis? CBA. CBA is a method used when the project needs to be put into assessment with the cost and benefits of making a decision to undertake the project. So before we carry on that project, before we execute it, we have to analyze the CBA, which is the cost-benefit analysis. So the CBA is mostly used by the public sector. Do we know the public sector? Government sector, the government enterprises.
Why mostly the public sector?
Mostly because public sector can decide, they use mostly taxpayers' money. So whatever they do, it has to be of social cost, not just private cost. As a firm, you can decide to build your school. Whatever cost you incur, you don't have to think about the third party. It's your money. You know how to make your profit. But when it comes to government is using taxpayers' money. Do you understand? So government wants to ensure that there is welfare gain, not welfare loss. Because if government is building a hospital, it should be beneficial than not building it. So what government decisions are based on CBA, cost benefit analysis. So if the government of this country wants to build, if government of Libya wants to build a hospital, it has to put into consideration the CBA of building such hospital. Do you get it now?
Yeah.
So that's why mostly the public sector use CBA. So these approaches differ from the private sector appraisal based on the following reasons. So for the private sector, they think about their private cost.
Not any external.
Yes, they think about their private cost, then they decide the price. That is the private sector. But the government, they use taxpayers' money. It's different. So it's our money. And they have to use it, they have to be accountable for it. Do we get it? So why is the CBA public sector analysis different from the private sector? Number one, it puts into consideration all the cost and benefit, not just the private cost or the private ones. The CBA puts into consideration private cost, private benefit, external cost, external benefit, social cost and social benefits before the project carries on. So the project will be executed or the project will fly if only the social benefit exceeds the social cost. If the cost to the society is less than the benefit to the society, then the project will fly. Do you get the point I'm making here? Great. Two, it has to place a shadow price on both cost and benefits. Where the price is not known, when we don't have the price, the CBA would allow you to put at least a shadow price. The shadow price is a price that we put based on the fact that we don't have a significant price. We don't have a stable price. We don't have an addressed price. So we just have to find the price to put on it. Because without the price, without the monetary value, we can't still carry on the project because we use money for a project. So we need an estimate, a predictable price, which is shadow price. Do you understand? Unlike the private sector knows the price of whatever they want to sell because they know their cost, they cure the cost, and they want to make profit. That is why profit is always total revenue minus total cost. They know the cost already, and they're going to place the price with the quantity they want to sell. The private sector. But the public sector, because it's government are not technicians, they are not technocrats. they are not economists, they are not business people, so they might not have the real price with them, but they can make estimates, which is called the shadow price. Do we get that, please?
Yeah.
So that takes us to the stages in the cost-benefit analysis. So what are the stages when it comes to CBA? The first stage is to identify. The first stage is there's a project. So the first thing you think about a project is to identify the cost of the project, the benefits of the project. When we talk about the cost of the project, we're simply talking about the private cost of the project, the private benefit of the project, the external cost of the project, the external benefit of the project. That is identification of all relevant costs and benefits. Do you understand the first stage? The second stage, we put a monetary value on those costs. Putting a monetary value on all relevant costs and benefits associated to the project. Monetary means the price, the value of the cost. Oh, there's a private cost. What is the worth of the private cost? Oh, there's an external cost. What is the worth or the value of the external cost? There's a private benefit. What is the value of the private benefit? There's an external benefit. What is the value of the external benefit? It is part of your monetary value. You need to place a figure. You need to place figure. That's what monetary value is. The third stage is forecasting the future cost and benefits of the project. Here, it's simply talking about a project that is stretched to the future. Long term, thank you. So if we are building a bridge, we can't build a bridge within 2 months, 3 months. It might take even a year. So that means we have to put into consideration the future price of cost, the future cost and future benefits of this project during the long run. So for this, it is simply on projects that are stretched towards the future. Do we understand the third point? And as soon as these are done and considered, then we think about the final stage where we make our decisions. The first thing is you think about a project. Now you have a project. You need to execute the project, but you don't just execute the project. You go through the stages of the CBA before you make the final decision. So the final decision comes at stage 4. Decision making. This is the stage where the interpretation of the CBA is done in a clear manner to aid decision making. At the end of it all, you make your final decision. So making a decision here means your benefits is greater than the costs.